A woman who has just graduated can't wait to be free, only to find that her man wants to put his trousers back on and run away. She's at a loss for words. She's embarrassed. After all, she's been struggling outside the door for a long time before she plucks up the courage to indulge herself. In fact, the man's idea is very simple. He just wants to challenge his soft spot. Although he often had sex with women, he was convinced that there must be true friendship between men and women. On 15th July 1988, they had just graduated from university. There's nothing graphic. Decker just hugs Annie and stupidly says he's going to be her best friend for life. Time is said to be the coldest of all, and this time it wanted to prove something. And so began an 18-year love affair between these two seemingly perfect young people. On the 15th of July 1989, accompanied by Decker, Annie, a writer at heart, arrives in London to fulfill her ambition in a small rented flat. Decker, on the other hand, is traveling to Paris to pursue his longed-for career on the Walk of Fame. Before they parted, they made a pact to see each other every year on the 15th of July. At that moment, like all young people, they were looking forward to a bright future. But reality soon hit Annie hard. She couldn't earn a living as a writer with no reputation. She found a job as a waitress in a restaurant and used the meager salary to support her unattainable dream. Annie was never short of suitors, but she always politely declined. But every time, she would politely reject them because in her heart, there is always a man she can't love. Compared to Annie, Decker lives a life of luxury and license. With a good family and handsome looks, he never lacked women who would throw themselves at him. Annie would often call him to tell him her problems in life. Sometimes Decker would be patient, but more often than not, he would hang up after a gasp. Annie could only say, "I miss you," to the hung-up phone. 2 years passed by in a flash. Annie was still writing and working part-time as before. Decker, on the other hand, was doing well. He won the favor of the local TV station and was about to become a presenter. On the 15th of July, the man went to the restaurant where Annie worked. But in between Annie's work, he flirted with another woman. Annie was a bit jealous, but she didn't stop him. They are just friends, and friends have no right to get involved in each other's love life. She spits on Decker. She spat that Decker was close to eating the woman in his mouth. In the intervening 2 years, her dream of being a writer had progressed, and she was about to be promoted to restaurant manager instead. She didn't like the smell of grease in her hair or the smell of cheap alcohol in the restaurant. Life can be so unforgiving, forcing countless people to give up on their dreams. In fact, Decker has always known Annie's feelings, but he didn't dare to accept it. He always thought he didn't deserve this beauty, and he didn't want to break it himself. The only thing he could do was to give Annie some comfort as his best friend. On the 15th of July the following year, Decker took Annie on a road trip in his new convertible. Last year, when they parted, he promised to take her away for a break, so this year he made good on his promise. They arrived at a small seaside town and lounged on the beach, enjoying their time together. Between their fingertips and the back of their shoulders, Annie smiled happily. She had dreamt of this sweet scene countless times. But back in reality, she just wanted to run away. She knew Decker was a real scum. She had to keep her distance in order to keep her hard-earned friendship. In the pub at night, the smell of hormones is everywhere. With the help of her drink, Annie told Decker what she had been thinking for years. When she first met Decker years ago, she fell in love with him at first sight. At that time, she secretly wrote many anonymous love letters. But with her low self-esteem, she finally chose to stay away. Decker was so bright, she couldn't breathe with all those women around her. Decker smiled lightly and didn't choose to respond. He got up and took Annie outdoors. Looking out over the night sea, the man plunged headlong into the water on a whim. He didn't need alcohol-induced babbling because what he was about to say was very important. He called out for Annie to calm down. Annie shook her head helplessly and jumped into the water. They frolicked in the water, feeling the freedom of the water. Gazing at the beautiful woman in front of him, Decker spoke the words hidden in his heart. "You know, once I also thought about your relationship with me." Annie was surprised and asked if it was true. Then Decker said jokingly that he wanted to be with every pretty girl. The joy was short-lived. Annie's newly raised mood instantly dropped to the bottom again. Looking at the disappointed Annie, Decker suddenly felt a flutter in his heart. Just when he wanted to do something, an accident happened. The thief snatched Decker's clothes, which he had put together for this date. Looking at Decker's funny look, Annie's mood seemed to be better. Annie couldn't help laughing. Decker said it wasn't funny. I was the victim. A year passed by in a flash. This year Decker's career exploded. His variety show became an overnight sensation. He became one of the biggest stars in show business. But he soon became addicted to the world of sex. Even Annie's phone call on the 15th was just a lie. His life went on for a whole year. His body soon became so weak that he had to be careful when walking up the steps. But he wasn't the only one who was weak. His mother also suffered. Her blonde hair, which she was so proud of, has disappeared due to chemotherapy, but she still looks at Decker with the same tenderness that she used to have. During this time, Decker played a video of himself hosting a program to show off his achievements over the past year, but her mother wasn't as happy as she thought she would be. She thinks it's all too much. She wanted Decker to do something he really wanted to do. It was late in the evening when Decker woke up from his sleep. The visiting hours he managed to squeeze in, he almost passed out. Mother wanted him to stay for dinner, but he subconsciously dismissed her like he did Annie. Looking at his mother's disappointed face, Decker had a sudden reaction. He didn't know when he had become what he was now. Mother hurriedly said, "I know you're going to be a very good person, excellent in every way, but I don't think you've reached it now. But now I'm really worried. You seem to have gone off the rails." Dick was about to explain something. His mother told him he didn't have to. As he left, his father gave Decker a stern lecture. He was disappointed in Decker's behavior today. His mother could have died at any time, and he still didn't care. Father said that if he ever went to see his mother again with such an attitude, he would never let him in. He would throw the door in his face. The father said he wanted him to drive away. In a swoon of paper and gold, he was no longer the spirited young man he had been back then. He called Annie with hot tears and sobs. He just wanted to hear Annie's voice. But this time, Annie didn't answer Decker's call. She had an important appointment. Will their relationship change? Can the people who love each other end up together? I'm BullDog Movie. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.